Since we're using pop songs, I might as well bring the other lonely lines from Billy Joel at right? You know that one? From Piano Man, huh? There's also an alone line there? What's the line? Oh, the lonely people. Okay, there you go. We could do a trivia contest here of all the words lonely. Well, songs are all about loneliness often, The one in Billy, what does he say? He says, they drink a drink called loneliness, better than drinking alone. They're sharing a drink called loneliness better than drinking alone. Okay, these are all the negative sides of it. But I want to now address back to the lonely, the negative side of lonely. There's no question having a companion, having a friend. The Mishnah says, "Aseh lecha rav, kneh lecha chaver." Appoint for yourself a teacher, a mentor, and acquire a friend, because those friends and kindred spirits clearly help build our own confidence and also support us, can give us an objective perspective, and just you can lean on. So clearly it helps a person cultivate a sense of confidence when you have a good friend. So I'm not suggesting everything I said earlier that you shouldn't have friends. That's not at all what I was saying. I was just saying at the end of the day, however, it is ultimately about embracing yourself. And and you have people who can help bring you there, great. But it should be to bring you to find yourself, not for you to please them or to become them. That's the key thing to remember. So yes, when it could be a catch-22 situation. So where do you begin? So if you grow up in a healthy home, parents and confident and secure parents will generally cultivate a sense of self, of being comfortable in your own skin, which makes it much easier to take on life's challenges and just be yourself. If, however, that did not come your way, unfortunately, as I said before, that doesn't mean all is lost. It means that's the work you need to do. Because you still have, the soul was still given to you. You're still creating the divine image. You still have a unique mission. You're still a unique person. Your parents don't give or take that from you. What they can give is you embracing it and feeling comfortable with it. But it doesn't mean that you don't have it. The question now is, can you find people that can help nurture you, so-called replacement of what you're compensating that which was not given in the fullest sense of the word. And also learning to nurture yourself in discovering that component. Now you'll find, you read Steve Jobs' biography. There's the new one, but I didn't see that one, the Walter Isaacson's one, where it talks a lot about, it's very clear that the fact that he did not really have a father from the early stage is really what drove him so much to success. In other words, his agony. So sometimes people who really suffer, suddenly they discover their own individuality. No one wishes that on anybody, but it just shows you that there are different ways to reach the destination. That may be an extreme situation, and there are others that have that, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes the bitterness and the pain of loss doesn't let you excel. The point, however, is that everybody has something that is unique. You must find people in your life that support that. Unfortunately, we have too many people in our Rolodex, or whatever we call it today, your contact list, that when you call them, they're very good at throwing cold water at you and saying, don't get so excited or enthusiastic, I've been there. You need to have people that are supportive, that when you say something, you get excited about something, they say, wow, that's a great thing. I have confidence in you. I believe you can do anything that you set your mind to do. We must have people around like that. If you don't have people like that around you, most likely you will not be able to get there. Because there's so many negative voices, your own negative voices, and as I said, if childhood was not a perfect one, so you have all the cards stacked against you. So one of the ways to counter it is to have people like that, to simply be around people that excel, people who believe in excellence, believe in you, who don't feel undermined and don't forget your success. They'll celebrate it. I'm not saying everyone's that way. There are many people not that way. There are many fine people that you may think are fine, but they're not good for you in that sense. And that's one of the easiest things for a person to look at, is who do you surround yourself with? I think the Koreans say, you won't be judged for who you are, but you'll be judged by who you surround yourself with. So that's one thing I think that everybody can look at. Even if you're not going to go and suddenly change your whole contact list and erase it and get a new one, but you can do small shifts. And you could say, okay, here's my calendar. I'm going to add 5 new ones that will give me a little more optimism this year. And maybe a few less calls to the other ones. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to tell them this. But the fact of the matter, I remember when I was like, 14 years old, I don't remember what it was. So someone told me they have to go to a meeting. So that age, you don't even know what a meeting is. I said, what's a meeting? So this guy tells me, I remember a lesson I always remembered. He said, a meeting is one or two things. It either drains you or empowers you. That's what a meeting is. And I remember, and he was right, 100%. A meeting, there are meetings you go to, you feel drained. You feel like, what am I doing here? And there are meetings you go, you feel empowered. You pretty much can know pretty quickly which one it is. Sometimes you have to go to a meeting anyway because whatever, it's the obligations you have. The same thing is with people. There are people you meet, you go away from them, you smile. You feel stronger. And there's some people you meet, you always feel weaker. You always feel down. But it's not always because they said something, because it's just a vibe. Now, I'm not trying to, I know every human being has a divine image, even those that give the bad vibes. They're just trapped in their own negative self-image. But everyone has to take care of themselves. Surround yourself with people that, when you finish speaking to them, or after you encounter them, make you feel a little better. And I don't mean illusions, not that they're telling you things that are, ridiculous illusions of grandeur. Just a positive vibe. And generally, people who are comfortable with themselves make other people comfortable. I go back to that. So, in the final analysis of this whole loneliness subject, the Metzora is a very lonely character in the Torah. He's lonely because he made himself lonely. It says in the Torah that a Metzora is, as I said, a spiritual contamination, a spiritual impurity, as a result of him chattering too much. Gossip. Lashon hara. As a matter of fact, there's even a language there. One of the ways that this healing of the Metzora is through a bird. Why a bird? Because a tzipra is mitzaftzif. Because just like he chattered in negative ways, so you need something that chatters in a positive way. Actually, if you look at the translations, I found it interesting. The translation is Twitter. So Twitter is already in the Bible. So if you want to ask somebody, where's Twitter originate from? It's around 3,500 years ago in the Torah. You already have it documented. Mitzaftzif, that's what tweeting is. It's like a bird chirping. So you could chirp in two ways. You can chirp good things about people. You could chirp bad things about people. The Metzora got what he deserved. He didn't forgive. He did not. He resented others. He spoke badly. So what happens? By definition, cause and effect. That's how you get isolated. It's not a punishment. His isolation is a direct outgrowth, cause and effect of your behavior. At some point, when you do that, you are, in fact, isolating yourself. And the healing comes from reconnecting and chirping in the proper way, beginning to talk loving things about others. The whole process here in the Torah. I'm not going to go through the whole healing process of the Metzora. It's not relevant to the discussion. But loneliness is exactly the same thing. Loneliness is a result of our own negative self-image, which ends up feeling that you are no one is around, you have no connection, you don't have anyone else in the world. When in truth is, you should really sense that you're a unique person. And it's not lonely, but it's rather singularity. It's individuality. And being comfortable with that is what actually allows you to reconnect to others. So people who wallow, or they marinate in their own loneliness, what do you think happens? Who wants to be around a lonely person that exudes lonely energy? No, people don't like that. I mean, predators like it maybe, but not healthy people. However, if you could take your bodad, eche yoshva bodad, and turn it to amla bodad yishkin, bodad in the positive, an unhealthy loneliness to a healthy one, then you get into the world of uniqueness. But that takes the work that I've described before, work of, first of all, rebuilding yourself, rebuilding your character, your identity, surrounding yourself with people that believe in you, that give you that confidence, that encourage you. These forces tend to reignite that part of us. Because at the end of the day, I don't think there's a person on earth, even the loneliest or the saddest person or the most insecure, that somewhere deep down inside does not feel that there's something that they have that's unique about them. Unfortunately, people who suffer often think their uniqueness is in their suffering. It's one of the hard things, especially in therapy, where people think that they're unique in their pain. The truth is we're unique in our strengths. On our pain, we're not that unique. Everybody suffers the same way. Everybody bleeds the same way. Our uniqueness is in our strengths. But the strange phenomenon is that people they almost get addicted to their uniqueness in their suffering, which ends up becoming a self-destructive behavior. Because then you isolate yourself. Nobody can understand me because I'm in such pain. Nobody wants to be around me because I'm in such situation. All those voices tend to create a real isolation where you really become cut off from yourself and from others. Which is why you find in Judaism, God forbid anyone who should never happen to anyone, but if there's a loss in a family, a parent or a close one, sitting Shiva is not isolated. It's 7 days of non-stop traffic. I can tell you that, to the point that it's like a whiz. It's a completely, again, no one should ever know this. But then you think about the wisdom of it is brilliant, because it's not letting you just disappear because death is an extremely painful experience emotionally. It's like the end. Finality. You're not going to see this person again. It brings up who knows what. And the fact that there are people that come, even though you don't even want them to come, they're just there, has a certain buffering effect. It's like almost feeling like you're like cushioned by just the push by the people. I don't know if any of you saw the March of the Penguins, that film a number of years ago. And you see first of all, it's fascinating just the way they protect their young and their whole. But one thing that's very interesting, they're in sub-zero temperatures in the Arctic. Was it in the South Pole or North Pole, wherever, one of the two. I think the South is colder, right? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's pretty cold, like 70 below, 80 below. So the penguins, what they do is they group together, these emperor penguins, and because that makes their body warmth, their body heat is joined, but they keep on alternating who's on the outside where the winds are. And they're constantly moving, and they're all rotating. Like in the first, these penguins are on the outside, they move inside, the next ones move on the outside. It basically maximizing the warmth that they give each other and being able to endure that cold. Should they stop that rotation any moment, should they not have that joint, that synergy of the group effect, they would all they'd all freeze to death. But the balance, it's still cold, but the balance that allows them to survive is this sense of connection that they have. So what you see from that is, I was mentioning it because the power that we give to each other. Now imagine they did not have that. Everyone felt, you know what, I'm freezing, let me just go run for cover. That would kill you. So it's actually the opposite, them working with each other. You have the same thing, in the natural world, in different animal species, fascinating collaborations and how they work together. You ever see how geese fly, for example? The V formation is not an accident. It's because they maximize the wind, what's it called? The airlift, the aeronautics, due to the fact that they ride on each other's wing. I forgot the words. Whatever. You get the idea. So there's the Eina Nili Mili. If I'm not for myself, who'll be for me? Everyone in that individual. But then there's also the Anila Atzmi. If I'm only for myself, that we also can't survive. And it's the perfect balance between the two. Perfect balance. So the negative loneliness can end up becoming something that traps you, where as I said, nobody understands me, I'm in this misery. You close down. That's why you find so much in therapy or even the 12-step program. One of the powers is breaking the silence. Why is that such a big thing? Because the silence is worse than the rape, as they say. The silence is worse than the crime. That when a person goes into isolation and they feel they can't talk to anyone, they feel no one will believe me or no one will understand me, that creates that pariah element that turns loneliness into a real cancer. And then it starts feeding on itself, because you start becoming this person in your own eyes. You're a pariah. In your own eyes, you will not be believed. In your own eyes, you'll be mocked. You'll be criticized. You'll be judged. That's a big one. You'll be judged. So what you do is you isolate yourself further in shame, in demoralization, and so on. When in truth, what the best way that what should be doing, like with the Shiva, as I said, is to reach out to others and help you find the uniqueness. Yes, you're unique, but not in the negative. You're unique in your positive strengths, not in your negative stuff. And that becomes a force where you can then build on that And then, as I said, it complements both sides, complement each other. Individuality complements the whole, and vice versa. So a lot more can be said on this topic. I hope this was somewhat helpful. Ten l'chacham v'yach kamayid, as they say. You give to the wise, and they always can make more wisdom out of it. These are the ingredients to some extent. And God should bless us all that we should never feel lonely in the negative sense. But even if you feel alone, if you feel you're a loner, because all of us are in some way, remember it's your uniqueness that makes you alone, not your lowliness. It's your strengths, not your weaknesses that make you special. And you need people to help support that. And like I said before, to be alone together. Many lonely people together become a formidable force that empowers one, empowers the other. So, with that said, I want to wish everybody a very good week. And if you have not left me your email address, please do so. Philip will be giving his class, I believe, tomorrow. Anyone interested in that, creativity and spirituality, it's called. He's a musician, songwriter, Philip is, and we continue to produce every week more content. So if we're happy to send you our weekly newsletter and any of our other offerings. It's only growing. And as always, as I say, each of you are individuals in your own way. I know I dedicated my life to helping every person that I meet to try to find and actualize their unique individuality. And so I hope we can do that with each other and at the same time complement each other. So if anybody needs any support in that direction, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, to my organization, to all the stuff we do, which is really about empowering people to find their unique mission in this world and the strength and courage necessary to actualize it. So I wish you all the ability to do so, more so than you've done till now, and continue to grow in this regard. And let's always stay in touch. This class keeps going on, and I hope to see you next week or whenever you choose to come, or online. So everyone have a very good week. Thank you. I should also mention before I conclude the Omer book. So in the beginning that when there's 49 days between Passover and Shavuos, there's the 49 days of character refinement, personality growth. So I have this book called the Omer book. It's also online. You can see it in they have an app, a free app, My Omer. You can get it in the Android and the iOS stores, as well as a daily email that we send out with the exercise and meditation, and also part of the journey of growing and self-awareness and self-actualization and fulfilling the purpose for which we were sent here. So that's announcement. Okay, thank you.